also put everything into perspective that's happening in Karnataka, especially in Srirangapatna today. And for that, I'm joined by panelists Maulana Masood ul Hassan Qasmi, who's a Muslim scholar, and I am also joined in by Desh Ratan Nigam, who is an advocate. Thank you for joining us, Maulana Saab and Mr. Nigam, on our newscast. Let me take my first question from Maulana Saab. Maulana Saab, there's of course constantly this reference to the ASI and how crucial the ASI's stance is going to be on this entire matter. I'm going to refer to this letter that has been exclusively accessed by CNN News 18, which was written by the ASI in 2004. It categorically states that while it acknowledges that the mosque has all the right to remain as a Muslim entity, it also goes on to say that the madrasa, the functioning of the madrasa is against the ASI rules, and that the madrasa is defying the ASI rules. And so, do you agree or not that the demand that's being posed by the Hindu outfits is valid to suspend the madrasa?
Number one, day before yesterday, RSS chief very categorically said no more Andolan. Why look for Shivling in every mosque, every monument? So, point is that either Sangh Sarchalan has no control over his parivar, or deliberately for further polarization, this controversy has been led to spread more and more and more. About Srirangapatna, this is mosque. As per the ASI rule, record, as per ASI record, namaz has been taking place since years and years. About the 2004 letter to which you are referring now, whatever the matter is, ASI has to deal with it. I don't know why did ASI delay for more than 18 years till now. And what about these people, Vishnu Parishad? Why are these people taking law and order into their own hands? Why they are not pleading to ASI to take action? Whatever the ASI will decide will be dealt over, and Masjid Kabir ji will see. If Masjid Kabir ji say that this is against the rules, they will approach the court. So why people are trying to disturb peace and prosperity of the country on the name of the mandir? This is the question. And they are not under control. Vishnu Parishad, entire Sangh Parivar is not under the control in Sarsangkara. This is a matter of concern. What they are trying to do, they want to put entire country on boil over Hindu-Muslim. There is nothing in this country except Hindu-Muslim, except Mandir, Masjid, except we have to prosper. We have a lot of work to be done. Developmental works are there. Many things are there. Only Hindu-Muslim, Hindu-Muslim, Hindu-Muslim. हमारे पास कोई और काम नहीं है क्या? भाई ये जो भी है कोर्ट में जाइए. हम हिंदू मुस्लिम करके रोड पे जाकर के एक नया तनाजा खड़ा करके लोगों के दिलों में टेंशन पैदा करके लोगों को काम करना है, स्कूल जाना है, ऑफिस जाना है, ये सब कोई कौन देगा खाने के लिए? उन्हें तमाम बंद हो जाते हैं, झगड़े हो जाते हैं, हिंदू मुस्लिम झगड़े हो जाते हैं, रास्ते बंद हो जाते हैं, कर्फ्यू लग जाते हैं, एंड पीपल अपने घरों में बैठ जाते हैं. परेशानी गरीबों को होती है. तो ये देश के पीपल हु आर द real lover of the country should think over this.
Right. Maulana Sahab, you've made your point. The question is also that court bhi kahan tak kitne मामले सुलझाएगा. On that note, let me bring in Desh Ratan Nigam. Desh Ratan Nigam, you heard what Maulana Sahab had to say. He has a point. I will not deny that. But to what extent the court can also be involved, considering the Hindu outfits have already said that they will be taking the matter to the court, asking and demanding for a probe and to be allowed to conduct a survey like the Gyanvapi. Now, I'm going to come to that angle of whether or not this is going to turn into another Gyanvapi, but I'm going to request you first to enlighten us. Is this just under the jurisdiction of the court as of now, or the ASI can actually intervene right now and get done with the matter?
Well, in fact, if we look at the entire constitutional scheme of things, courts are the ultimate arbiter of any disputes. So we have to go to the court under any circumstances. ASI can also be made a part of it, and the courts will finally decide the matter, because that's the constitutional scheme of things that we have. Now, secondly, let me tell you, as I've always maintained, this is about truth versus untruth, and
Right, go ahead, Mr. Nigam.
So let me just finish. So this is about truth versus untruth. First, where there has to be an acknowledgement and acceptance of the truth, and once that happens, one can sit across the table. There has to be an all India survey, a truth commission, something like a truth commission has to be formed, and they must have a state-wise list, and that state-wise list will decide that whether these places were temples or mosques. And once that happens, then people can sit across the table. Otherwise, these things will keep on cropping in every district and every state. So this is not about RSS. RSS is not participating or launching any movement in this. This is about expression of Indian civilization and culture, and people want to know the truth. And if somebody wants to hide the truth, there will be a reaction. So in order to solve this controversy once for ever at an all India level, let us have a truth commission, let Hindus and Muslims participate in it, and finally decide that these are the places that Hindus want. Otherwise, at every now and then, things will start. We know it's a historical fact that Hindus' temples were desecrated, destroyed. Even the same material was used to build mosques. And in Islam, it cannot be a mosque if you have forcibly taken over some land or destroyed the temples. So one has to go to the root of the problem.
All right, that's an important point that you made. I'd like to bring in Maulana Saab on that. Maulana Saab, you heard what Desh and Nigam has to say. Mr. Nigam has made a point saying that according to Islam, there can be no mosque on a place or an area where there is already an existing religious structure belonging to another religion. Is that what the text also states?
No, that's what Islam or the Quran stipulates. There can no mosque be. There cannot be any mosque over the graved land or snatched land or forcibly taken land. The point is, the Mughals invaders has ruled entire country, entire land of the country. The point is, are you going to dig up entire land of the country? Yeah, on the name of atrocities or injustice made by invaders, so are you going to dig up entire land, all the buildings, all the places, all the villages, all the hospitals, all the roads? So where will be the end? This is very clear that we are going to open a Pandora box where will be an endless fight between Hindu and Muslim, and nothing will last.
In that sense, Maulana Saab, why does India actually ask for an apology or expect an apology from Britain as well? I mean, as a country who was governed and actually has borne the atrocities by the Britishers as well, we expect a sort of apology from Britain as well. I mean, then that of course remains an endless debate.
Yes, of course. We have a lot of Buddha Vihar, we have a lot of church which have been converted into mandir by Hindu rulers at that point of time. So where will be the end? This is only my point. My point is that we should not go to open the wounds of the history. हिस्ट्री के जख्मों को मत खरीदिए, हिस्ट्री को जख्मों को मत खरीदिए. There is only line has been drawn by the Parliament of India, and that is the that is the Places of Worship Act 1991, and this should be considered as the line for the end all of such type of controversy.
Right.
For the
Desh
peace
and
and
Nigam, you heard what
prosperity of the
Maulana
country.
Sahab said. He says that we have to abide by what the Worship Act actually states. He has a point, I'm not going to deny. But Mr. Nigam, there's also this question that he's trying to raise, and I'm also going to ask you, to what extent can history be reversed?
Well, history is not to be reversed. The true history has to be told to the people. When Maulana Saab says, will you dig the entire India? This is an acknowledgement of the wide scale and widespread spread atrocities committed on Hindus. There thousands and lakhs of temples destroyed. He's acknowledging that, although not admitting it, but indirectly acknowledging it. And the fact is, it is a job of historians and archaeologists to dig up the place and tell the correct history. It happens all over the world. Otherwise, we would be closing all the history departments and all archaeological departments of the universities. But secondly, let me again point out that the 1991 Act has also an exception. That exception provides that 1991 Act will not be applicable if it is an ancient monument, historical monument, or archaeological site, or a site protected under Archaeological Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites Act of 1958. So that exception itself is provided. And since it is an ASI protected, therefore the 1991 Act will not apply to it. I am a lawyer, I can tell you that.
Right.
So one has to actually read it properly.
Right.
Now, unless and until the truth comes out, if somebody is trying to hide
we
the
will
truth,
also discuss the role that ASI is going to play over here, Mr. Nigam. But I'm going to request you to hold on to those thoughts, as I also request Maulana